I made you another board, but this time it's so that you and I can roleplay as the marketing team for the genocide. Hear me out. I've been in marketing and communications and all of that for about 10 years, and I can tell you with confidence what we're being subject to with this genocide is a world-class marketing campaign. So what I thought we could do together is peel back the curtain so we can see us, how they see us, and then we can go through what their worst case scenario would be and see how we can do that together. So let's get started. All good brands have this. You have to know who your supporters are, you have to know people who don't particularly care about your brand, and you have to know who's against this. So for us, this is people pro-genocide, this is the people who, in the words of Piers Morgan, believe they do not have a horse in the race, and then this is people who are vehemently against us. Now, all good marketing campaigns tend to try and sway these people because this is where the open market is, right? This is the people who, if we make them into supporters, we get bigger market share. This is not quite the case for us. For us to go ahead with this genocide, all we need is these neutral people to stay neutral and we'll have the majority, okay? So by virtue of them saying, I don't have a horse in the race, and to continue to say that, we're winning. Again, like all good marketing campaigns, I don't have to really aim for this. They're going to be with us no matter what. Few of them, to be honest with you, are going to jump ship here, but that's neither here nor there. We're just going to have to hope that it's not enough to rock this boat. So you may be asking, what are my tools to keep these people being neutral? That's a really good question. Here's what I've got at my disposal. I've got about 2.5 decades worth of Islamophobic press that they've been subject to, which is fantastic. I've got lots of PR that I've been doing, paying celebrities to come on holiday. I've been pitching myself as a holiday destination. I'm also going to, with this press, I'm going to convince them that this is a complex issue. What they're going to do is they're going to believe it is the moral good to stay quiet. And that's really important here because I want them to believe that this issue is so over there and it's so beyond their comprehension that in order for them to take a side is actually a moral evil. Even though history will say that it isn't, and they'll just need to read one book about genocide and realise that they're co-signing it. But we're just going to hope that that doesn't happen. We're going to pay a few more celebrities, influencers and all of that stuff to say that what we're doing is good because their voices are going to be louder than people that they don't know, ambassadors and all of this stuff, right? Let's have a look at who the people are that we're getting to stay neutral. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to figure out who they're not. The people who are against this genocide, boo for us, right, tend to be younger. Younger people famously haven't watched a lot of mainstream media, and that means they don't consume a lot of mainstream news, which means that they're not as Islamophobic as, let's say, their parents, and that's why we say our parents are problematic. The reason they say problematic things is the reason that you do not. They have been consuming things that you have not. That's really it. If you were to start consuming mainstream media, over years and years and years, you'd be problematic too. So these people who are negative this campaign tend to also be people of colour. The reason people of colour is they tend to distrust, let's say, what mainstream media says about them because they can look at the campaigns that we're putting out and say that's not true. So by virtue of them being younger and people of colour, they don't tend to have a lot of money. What that means is they don't have senior positions at work, they don't tend to have owned their own companies, and they don't tend to have been in the country that they're in long enough to have accumulated a lot of power. This is just typically speaking, right? We're going for the median person. So who are the people who are remaining neutral? Let's have a look. They tend to be older. Again, the reason they're neutral and the reason they're older are together. The reason that they are both is because they've been consuming a lot of mainstream media. They've had to just agree with Islamophobia over these years. Because they're older and white, they tend to have a little bit more money, and that therefore they tend to have a little bit more power. Whether that's because they're a bit more senior in their role or they own a company because they've been around longer, so they just want to work for themselves and all of this stuff. They tend to just have a little bit more influence in our society. So that's who we need to stay neutral, okay? Our worst case scenario as marketers for this genocide is for these people to realise that they are co-signing a genocide with their neutrality. The moment they understand it is not actually a moral good to stay silent is the moment we start losing this market share. The way that can happen is if the people who are here start getting their influencers to message these people specifically and say, my friends, potentially this is time to wake up. The reason this would be detrimental is just by virtue of these people taking part in a boycott, because of the amount of money that they have, I would have a lot of my funding cut. The moment these people start saying to people who they work with, because they have the safety to do so, that it's okay to support Palestine, and other people start supporting Palestine because they have that influence, that's the moment we start losing market share. The moment these people wake up to the fact that historically their conscience won't be clear in 10 years to come, and they're falling for the old genocide trick again, that's the moment we start losing market share.